Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Locum23. You're joining me for Choices of the Stories where you play Freshman Book 3, Chapter 9, Until We Meet Again. The next week goes all too quickly. Before you know it, it's the day before James's flight to LA. You help him pack up the last of his things. So, that's the last box?
Yep, that's everything.
You're sure you don't want to take any furniture with you?
It's way more trouble than it's worth. Besides, now the subletter won't have to buy anything. Come on, let's take a break.
The two of you flop down on the sofa. You're pretty calm for someone who's about to move thousands of miles away. If I were in your shoes, I'd be bursting with excitement, an emotional wreck. Oh, it's a tough one. I guess bursting with excitement since we're not attached to William. I still can't believe you're moving to Hollywood.
Neither can I, Mizzou. Quite literally, the reality of it hasn't set in yet.
Even with all your stuff packed?
Maybe it'd be different if I had to look at the apartment empty, but...
James' phone rings, interrupting him. He checks it and gives you an apologetic look before answering.
Hello? Right. Okay. I actually got someone coming by very soon, but I'll see what I can do. Talk to you later.
He hangs up the phone and turns to you.
I hate to do this, Mizzou, but Jasmine reminded me that I need to get some forms to her before the office closes. I'd do it myself, but the subletter's gonna be here in a few minutes.
Say no more. I've got this.
Thank you. The papers are already in the car.
He takes his car keys out of his pocket and hands them to you.
I've got her office address saved in my GPS. Just follow the directions, and you'll be there in no time.
Wow, this looks familiar. You drive over to Yasmin's office. When you enter, Jasmine is too busy talking on the phone to notice you. He won't turn me down if he knows what's good for him. I'm the one who can make or break his career. Jasmine glances over her shoulder and sees you. She presses the phone to her chest. Are those James' forms? Yes. Were you just talking about... Just leave the papers there on the table. Now, if you'll excuse me? She lifts the phone back to her ear. You drop the forms on her desk and let yourself out. You pick James up at his apartment, and he drives the two of you to a restaurant for dinner.
Thanks again for dropping those forms off for me.
No problem, but there's something I think you should know about Jasmine.
What is it, Mizzou?
I think that she's trying to manipulate you. She's planning to make a move on you. She's trying to manipulate you.
Manipulate me? What are you talking about?
When I was dropping the form off of the forms, I heard Jasmine say something like, he won't refuse because I control his career or something.
Is that all? Mizzou, she was probably just complaining about a stubborn client.
I don't know. The whole thing seemed a little nefarious.
I wouldn't worry about it. Even if she was talking about me, I'm sure it was just about some contract she thinks I should sign. Besides, my parents deal with people like Jasmine all the time. They've taught me what to do.
Well, if you're sure. I'm sorry, I guess I'm just being a little paranoid about you leaving.
Oh, no apology necessary. It's good to know you're watching out for me.
Always. A minute later, the check arrives and James pays. You start to pack up your things. Ready to go?
Can we wait a minute? I'd rather not rush.
Oh, okay. You sit back down.
Man, I'm gonna miss this place. My parents took me here when I first visited Hartfield.
Kinda poetic that you're back then.
Maybe so. You know, I'm a sucker for poetry. You know, I've always had kind of wanted to try out their photo booth.
What are you waiting for?
I was hoping you'd say that.
You pull James over to the photo booth and put in a $5 bill. The two of you step inside. 3, 2, 1. Pose, hug, bunny ears. Hug. Pose, peace sign, stick out your tongue. Pose, Charlie's Angel pose, smile. Have you ever thought about becoming a model? James takes the photos and holds them up so you can see.
Wow, Mizzou, you really are photogenic.
Aw, thanks.
I'll have something to remember you by in LA. Come on, Mizzou, let's go for a walk. There's a park near here.
Lead the way. The two of you walk around the park for a while as evening turns into night, and damn is that beautiful. It really is getting dark later and later, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it is. And Northbridge is so pretty in the spring.
It's starting to hit you that you're leaving.
Yeah, I should have known this would happen.
So, I guess the photo booth wasn't closure enough?
I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I feel like something's missing. Any ideas?
Maybe we could get drunk in Vasquez's office. Do one last reading of your play. You know what? He's going to have plenty of time for that. Let's get drunk in Vasquez's office.
We never did that. Did do that, did we?
You were always too scared of getting caught.
Well, there's no risk now.
His face falls, and he lets out a long sigh. Yeah, that was a dumb idea. Forget I mentioned it.
Okay.
That really wasn't a dumb idea. I thought that was funny. You keep walking for a bit until you pass a cemetery.
I didn't know there was a graveyard here.
Funny that you're still learning things after 3 years?
Yeah. You know, I still haven't been to Vasquez's grave.
You haven't?
Apparently the funeral was really small. And then I was gonna visit, but I got so busy with all this moving stuff. Have you?
No. I'm guessing you know where he's buried?
Gabriella told me he's buried in another cemetery not far from here.
Then, let's go.
Oh, this is gonna hit me, isn't it? Yeah, it's gonna hit me. We can make a stop at the grocery store and get some flowers.
It's a quiet night at the graveyard, and the moon is out. You feel a few raindrops start to fall on your skin. It sure is spooky here. Let's not linger. Do you know where Vasquez's grave is?
I think Gabriella said it would be toward the back.
The two of you walk slowly to the back of the cemetery. scanning all the while for Vasquez's name. There it is.
Enrique and Vasquez. All of us failed to match our dreams of perfection, so I rate us on the basis of our splendid failure to do the impossible. He would request a Faulkner quote for his tombstone.
Remember the first time I set foot in Vasquez's office? And he complained that Faulkner never had to deal with bumbling assistants?
He said the last one wore too many stripes.
You laugh for a moment, then sigh. Oh, I actually had a sneezing fit as you stare down at the gravestone. Strange to think that that only happened a few months ago. It feels like I knew him for a long time, but I guess I didn't really.
Maybe not, but I think this tombstone makes it clear how much of an impact you had on him.
You think so?
I worked with Vasquez for 3 years, and the one thing I remembered most is that he had no patience for human error. Not mine, not his assistants, and certainly not his own. I think that's why he was so hesitant to reach out to Gabriella for all those years. And then you showed up, and you were saying everything Vasquez thought he hated, and yet you completely turned his life around. Because of you, he was able to pass away knowing he was loved and will be remembered.
That was deep. That was deep. Wow.
Of course, that's just my interpretation, and the beauty of written word is that it can be read as infinite numbers of ways.
I guess we'll never know for sure. You take a step towards the tombstone and begin to speak. Hi, Professor Vasquez. It's Mizzou, and I'm here with James. And, we miss you both so much. I'm trying to remember what you taught me. We miss you both. Or we both miss you. Being back at Hartfeld isn't the same without you. I've never had a teacher who taught me as much about life as you, and I don't think I ever will again. I'm so grateful for the time we had together, however short it was. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is thank you. And goodbye.
That was beautiful, Mizzou.
You turn to see James standing beside you. Thanks. I hope I was able to do his memory justice.
I think he'd be very happy to hear what you just said.
Would you like a turn?
I would.
You step back and let James speak.
Professor Vasquez, I don't know how to thank you. You've had such a profound effect on every part of my life. Your class has ignited a passion in me. You taught me the power and beauty of the written word, something I hope to dedicate my life to. Thank you, Professor Vasquez, for everything.
He turns back to you.
Here, Mizzou, take some of these flowers.
He hands you part of the bouquet, and you bend down to lay it on the foot of the tombstone. James follows a moment later. Goodbye, Professor Vasquez. You step back and take one last look before walking back to the car.
Mizumi, can I ask you something?
Of course, James. What is it?
How do you think that Professor Vasquez would feel about me moving to LA?
I think he'd be very proud of you. He'd think you were selling out.
You need to let Professor Vasquez go. No, no, you can't, no. That's a horrible answer. I don't think anyone will pick that one. 40% of me. 30% maybe says yeah. He'd be very proud of you. I mean, James finally got his play, and he's doing everything right, so. You'd think so.
I know so. I can just imagine him going, James, I'm honored to have taught you. Perhaps you'll be able to show Hollywood what true art is. You put a hand on James' shoulder. Let's go home. It's late by the time you return to campus. Kaitlyn is waiting for you.
Hey, Kaitlyn. Thanks for letting me commandeer your room for the night. There was a bit of confusion, and the subletter ended up moving in a day early.
You're welcome. I hope you don't mind being watched by dolls all night.
What?
She's talking about her horror movie posters. Don't worry about it. Where is everyone? I don't know. Probably sleeping. It is late.
I see. Well, I've got an early flight to catch, so I'll be going to bed now. Good night, you two.
Good night, James. You quickly get ready for bed before meeting Kaitlyn in your room. Hey, ready for this slumber party? I was born ready. You climb into bed and Kaitlyn wraps her arms around you. Okay, what's the plans? Are we gonna braid each other's hair? Paint our nails? Maybe in a bit. Thanks again for letting James stay in your room tonight. Hey, it's no problem. As long as he doesn't mind that I haven't washed my sheets in a while. How are you holding up? I know this must be hard for you. James is one of my best friends. I'm sad that he's leaving, and honestly, I'm worried about him. Do you think James is making a mistake? Maybe. I'm worried about the industry. We'll chew him up and spit him out. What if he makes it big and forgets about us? I'm more worried they're gonna chew him up and spit him out. James is such a sweet guy. I can easily see people in the biz taking advantage of him. Hey, James is a smart cookie. I'm sure he'll get the hang of things. And even if things don't work out in California, he can always come back here to Hartfield. But it would still take a toll on him. I'm afraid he'll blame himself and doubt his writing abilities if this doesn't work out. Kaitlyn pulls you closer and kisses the top of your head as you start to sniffle. Hey, don't cry. James is gonna be fine because he's got a friend who cares so much about him. You bury your face against Kaitlyn's neck as she rubs your back. You have every right to be upset. Let it all out. After a while, you sit up and wipe your eyes. Kaitlyn leans forward, kissing you softly. I'm here for you. Whatever you need. Thanks, Kaitlyn.
I could use a little bounce chicka wow right now. I'm assuming that's where that's going.
Let's just go to bed. I have to get up early to see James off tomorrow. Yeah, of course. We can save the hair braiding for another time.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Kaitlyn kisses your forehead and switches off the lights.
Sweet dreams, Mizumi. You wake up the next morning at the crack of dawn to see James off at the airport. You meet Jasmine by the security line. We need to be on the plane in 30 minutes, so make it quick. I'll be back soon. The two of you watch her walk toward the restroom before turning back to each other. So, I guess this is goodbye.
Hang on. I've got something for you.
He reaches into his bag and pulls out a sheet of paper.
This is a round trip, open ticket to LA. If you ever need to see me for any reason, or just want to get away, this will get you there.
James, you didn't have to do this.
I know, but I wanted to. And no, it's not refundable or transferable, so you've got no excuse not to use it.
Oh, James. James wraps his arms around you in a tight hug. It's over too soon. James, it's time to go.
Right. Goodbye, Mizumi.
Goodbye, James. James places his bags on the conveyor belt and walks through the metal detector. Jasmine whispers in your ear. Oh, you bitch, you are the Natasha of my world. Just so you know, if you do anything to come between me and James, there will be consequences.
Allow me to get this pocket knife and slit your throat. What?
Come between you and James? Don't you dare make a move on him? I don't know what you're talking about.
Huh?
I mean, I don't know what you're... I mean, we're not relationship-wise, but I don't know what you're talking about, but... I know what she's talking about, but that's a good girl. Just remember, Gabriella may have the final say about that book you're writing, but her opinion can be easily swayed by her publisher. Toodles!
Oh!
Jasmine waves goodbye before following James with the metal detector. You watch her put her arm around James as they walked towards the gate. Without James' help, is your book doomed to fail? And what of Jasmine's plans? Keep playing to find out all this and more. Hey, James, did you pack a parachute at all? Because I want to sabotage the plane. So she goes down in a fiery ball of fire. And you live. But I digress. Wow. I hope I did that justice. Like I said, I am still sick. If you watched Endless Summer, I had a little sneeze. Like, I started getting emotional of the grave thing, and then my nose was like, oh, you're wanting to tear up. You know when you're sick, and if you're gonna cry because of something else or something, period, and your nose suddenly goes, now is the time to sneeze. Yeah, wow. So I don't know if that was Pixelberry's goodbye to Professor Vasquez, because in the special editions of Freshmen, such as this most recent one, The Game of Love, Professor Vasquez was in it for humor. And it was one of the most recent books right before his death, or his passing. I don't know if that's their way of saying goodbye to him. Because who doesn't like Professor Vasquez and the little events? But, yeah, they were progressing, and eventually we're going to have to say goodbye, period. And there's not going to be any more memories. I mean, you could always mention him in passing, you know, kind of like, well, Professor Vasquez once told me, but, so I'm guessing that was Pixelberry's final putting him to rest, and that sucked. I mean,
You know, we knew it was going to happen, but yeah. So, um, I hope you all did enjoy that. Look forward to the next two books, and then we'll be done for this week. But I am going to do the most wanted. I'm going to finally, once I'm tired of being sick, do the most wanted diamond of edition. Finally, do the voiceover for it. As for what's next, will be rules of engagement and then love hacks. Please look forward to those. And remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, folks, have a good one. And stay well. Peace.